Okay. Uh, I think we're live. Okay, check 1 2, testing 1 2 3. All right, so I'll give folks a minute to file in here. Boom. I think we are good to go in that regard. So I am running on a not my normal setup exactly. It's been slightly modified, so if anything's a little out of whack or different or off, let me know. And I do apologize. I've had a heck of a day. It's been a day. I get this set up for the wife. I need some scissors. Where are they? Thought I had some scissors here. Do I not? Whatever. Okay, well, welcome everybody. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, so I'm going to kill a couple of minutes while we give folks some time to file in. My wife is tucking the kids in right now, and then she'll come down here. She'll pour the blind. So she came down here. She kicked me out of my office a little while ago because she was like, I need to at least know where everything is. So she's like, I need to scout through the bottles so I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off when folks come in to the stream. So I let her do that. So what we're doing tonight is a blind that's been selected by Patreon. So what I did is I ran a raffle, and I put the Patreon members in the raffle, and their name went in extra times if they're like higher tier supporters, whatnot. So David won the raffle there, and yeah. Oh, I should probably put a link to this stream, or if someone doesn't mind doing that, get a link to the stream and put it in the Discord for folks, because some folks I think maybe thought we were doing this in the Discord, not on the YouTube channel. But we're here, so I'm gonna try to not be flustered because I've had a bit of a I've had a bit of a day. I've been going nonstop. I had PC trouble. I troubleshot as much as I could manually from what I know how to do with PC stuff. I'm not like a PC technician, but I did help build a couple of PCs. So anyways, I got in there and I tried to dissect things and troubleshoot. And once I tried everything I knew how to do after a couple of hours, I decided I got to take it in. And I've got a guy that I like to go to for PC stuff. And I had to pay a bit of a premium. I paid like $200 just so I could do this stream tonight. So I had to run like to the other side of Grand Rapids, take this to him, and then pay the premium to jump the line to get him to service the PC. It's not done. Like we basically came to a jerry-rigged system, so it's running right now. But it reset a lot of my like default settings and all that stuff. So I've been trying to get stuff set up for the stream, and it's been a bit of a nightmare. But it's at least running, right? You guys can see in here, okay? Right? So that's good. But anyway, so that really sucked. But and on top of that, I got a just an updated booster when I had my physical this week, and it's been kicking my butt. Like normally I'm fine, but this booster's been kicking my butt. I had a fever yesterday, and then this afternoon too. I was like, bruh, come on, I don't need this right now. So I feel a little tired, but I think we'll be okay. We'll get through it. But anyway, so that is explanation for why I might be flustered and maybe fatigued. But anyways, so yeah, the wife's tucking the kids. She'll be right down here as soon as she's done, and we'll get things moving and groove. Well, as Cool Guy says, grooving and shaking. Let me get these glasses out so she can. Actually, I'll make some room on the table real quick for her and set some glasses out so it's less work for her to do with the setup. Okay. In the meantime, so David, I think David's in chat. Yeah, I see him there. David, he picked the blind tonight. He won the raffle. So that means that I sent the full inventory of all my open bottles to him. And then he made his selection of 4 bottles from all of my inventory, and some of them are stuff that I've never had. All these samples were eligible as well, and a lot of these are whiskeys I've never tried before in my life. So if any of those end up in there, that'll be interesting because I won't have any frame of reference. You know what I'm saying? Also, I'm wearing my glasses tonight. I apologize, but because of like my fever and all that stuff, like, and I had to lay down and take a rest, and I don't want my contacts to dry out. So, anyways, I look disgusting. It's fine. Whatever. Let me get these glasses out. Alrighty. Okay, 4 Glencairns ready to go. Hey, I'm gonna open this window a bit too. It's hot in here. I think part of it is because of the way we had to jerry rig the PC. Like the back side of it is actually open, and that's the side that's facing me. So I'm getting some heat off the PC right now because basically what happened. I'll tell you the story while I'm waiting on my wife to come down and pour these. But basically what happened was an issue with my operating system communicating with my display settings. So it wouldn't show me anything on the PC. So the PC would fire up just fine. I'd hear like Windows notifications in the headset, but no screens would turn on, which is a problem. So when we went in there, essentially what we found out was I thought it was a software issue. It was not. It was a hardware issue. Somehow, some way, the cable that I have that connects my GPU to my motherboard just died. It's only like 2 years old too, but it's a specialty one because of the way that things are mounted in my PC. It's shaped in like this serpentine pattern, and it's very rigid, so it can hold its shape as it reaches the ports on the motherboard. So, so basically, with that thing being toast, we had to order a new one. But in the meantime, he had to reorient the my GPU in the case, and since they had to reorient it, now everything doesn't fit in there with the sides on. So it's kind of bulging out a bit. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I absolutely hate PC maintenance. It's the worst. Tech issues with PCs are the worst. So, by the way, thank you so much. I appreciate all the support you guys have shown. Especially in the last year on the channel. It's been cool to see the channel grow. And part of that, well, a big part of that really is especially the supporters in the Discord and the Patreon who supply a lot of these samples, because that's what makes it so that I can post content like 3 to 4 videos a week. Because I mean, you guys know this as well as I do. Whiskey's not cheap, and if I want to do 3 to 4 reviews a week, and I gotta buy 3 to 4 bottles a week, some of these are 100, 200, some of them $250, $300 bottles, and so that's just unrealistic for me to handle by myself. So I really do appreciate all the support you guys show by sending in these samples so that I can keep content moving as well. That's really cool of you guys. I really appreciate it. Let me catch up with some chat. Bummer on the PC. Well, yeah, the typo there, Tordice. Bummer on the OF looks like bummer on the OnlyFans, which almost makes it sound like, hey, it's a bummer you had to resort to OnlyFans to, keep your channel afloat. Gotta love autocorrect. Hey, Purge, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. We got Mr. Randy up in chat. Good to see you too. Brian. Good evening. I love the content, Ryan. Thanks, Premium. I appreciate that. Booster got me too. Only lasted a couple of days though. Oh yeah. I feel much better now. I really thought, I woke up today. Yesterday was the rough day, and I woke up today feeling pretty fine initially. I thought, okay, it's a 1-day thing. I'm moving on. I'm good. And then I wasn't good. But now I'm good again. I feel all right now, which is good news. Right, to get one of those. Oh, booster? Yeah. Pardon me. It's funny. A lot of people are really sensitive about that topic in general. And when I was there with the doctor, he was like skirting around. He's like, so like, are you against getting these and all, or what's your preference? And I was like, my preference is for the person who knows about health and my body to tell me what I should do. And he's like, well, I just recommend that you do it. Okay, well, if you recommend it, give it to me. I don't care. So I default to what my doctor says. But it was funny because he was like, well, no, I don't know how this guy is going to take this topic. You're hot in here? Yeah. Well, it is toasty in here. It is toasty. Thanks for keeping your appointment with us. I did everything I had to do to get her done. Get a new shirt, you dingus. Yeah, there's flecks of orange in there. Actually, it's toasty enough in here. I might take this off and just go with the t-shirt. And then maybe it is an OnlyFans channel at that point if I start disrobing. Who knows? Oh, I hear footsteps. That's good. That means the kids are tucked in. That means the wife is downstairs. That means we're going to be pouring. I opened this window to get some airflow in here. And now I'm thinking there might have been a skunk nearby because it's wafting in. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Is it in the on the couch or something? I'll find it. It does smell bad in here. Well, I need some airflow because the PC's open and it's hot. So, anyways, do what you gotta do. There's some paper here. I don't like this.
I did this in college. You would think I'd be.
Yeah, you hosted a local television show. You'll be fine. Yeah, she's fine.
A long time.
She's fine. Be nice. Be kind to my wife.
Hello. Okay.
I'll come in and I'll check.
The dog's here. Is that a problem? She's gonna get into stuff. That's what she does. She's getting into stuff right now. Okay, I'm gonna wait until I know he's upstairs. I'm gonna pull up my email. Thank you, David, for your organization and your pictures. I really appreciated that. Okay, I think I'm safe. I'm gonna grab my thing here. Okay, so let me. Sorry, I'm totally unprepared. I just put my kids to bed, so. All right. All right, so the first one he's got me out is the Baker 7. And I went through here recently and checked everything out, so I think I got the right one. Here, this one here. I don't know where chat is, but I'm guessing, oh, hi everybody. Hi guys. Okay, I think this is the one that he picked, the first one. So I'm going to, I don't know, should I pour them in order? I guess I should because he's not going to know what's what. Okay, so, all right. So, and you guys will have to give me some grace because I'm not a whiskey drinker or pourer by any means. I'm going to hear. Very pungent. Okay, so that's our first one. And I will write this, put this here. Okay. Number 1. Number 2 is hold on, give me 1 second. I can't apparently write and talk at the same time. So it is this one here. Foolproof 1792. For that one. Luna's decided she's coming to hang out with me. You guys can't see her, but she might come over. Are you coming to check me out? What are you doing? I have these. No, Right. Down, 2 to go. So I remember not to give away what we did. Hey, ma'am. No. Okay. Next one is the Eastern Kill Vermouth. chicken scratch here. All right, which was here. Feel like Vanna White, Eastern Kill. I really did host a radio show, a radio and TV show, college, and then I. Ugh. Actually, I'm starting. I feel like I never really could tell the difference between when you smell them. But I do feel like I'm starting to. I do this so often. Starting to get the hang of like. I couldn't tell you flavors. I can't like. Oh, that's bitch mahogany or whatever. But I could at least say it smells different. All right, last one. Okay. Oh, I put this. Is right here. Over the Penelope Toasted, which probably is going to. Yeah, I can, like I said, I can smell differences now. Don't ask me to taste differences. I can't do that, but I can smell differences. They all just smell like nail polish remover. But I'm sure I offended a bunch of people. They don't anymore, at least. So we've got that going. Okay. All right. Dog left. Who knows what she's doing? Oh. Make sure everything's back to where I had it, so it looks inconspicuous. I'm gonna text him. Now it's ready. Oh, yeah. Okay, no hints in chat. Oh, that's a good point. I'm sorry. Maybe David.
How we doing?
We're good. Don't. Well, hold on. Just hold on, because I was showing what we were doing, so I want to make sure chat kind of filters and.
Oh, okay.
Because David made a point. No hints in chat. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
It smells like butt in my office. What did you do in here?
It's that skunk.
It is. I gotta shut.
They're probably gonna make fun of me because I said at one point that all whiskey used to smell the same to me.
Oh my gosh, that's so potent.
It's really
that skunk is bad.
You get used to it.
Well, it's gonna affect my nose and the glasses.
Do you want a candle?
Maybe. Well, that'll cover it up too.
Yeah.
Well,
but anyway, I was saying I could start to actually smell differences now.
Now, do you want to do me one more favor before I go down to that table? You want to just put the sampled vials onto the floor or something? Because just in case I look and one of them's lower than the others, you know what I mean?
We didn't use any of those. Would that help you?
No, that will narrow it down further for me.
Well, I mean, you've got.
I
can move them.
Okay. No, then don't worry about it.
I'm not going to tell you.
Don't sweat it. No, it's okay.
Where do you want them?
That skunk is seriously bad.
Right here.
It's like messing up my old factories here. Hey, Kale. Good to see you, man. Gordonak's here, too. Love it.
Wait, my bestie's here. Kale. Not Gordnak. No offense, Gordnak.
That's cold, Steph.
I love you, too.
That's cold.
I get to keep up with chat because I'm...
All right. Well, let's do it. Thank you so much, Steph, for pouring.
Everything good upstairs?
Yeah, they were fine.
Temperature's cold.
Oh, yeah.
Why
we were laughing and giggling and goofing off.
Are you kidding me? It was a full meltdown.
Oh, yeah, we did some reciprocal dabs back and forth. It was great.
Dad dabs.
The dad dabs.
We'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Is this light too much? I feel like it's washing me out a little bit. Is it too much? Am I too pasty on... I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to start. We'll go left to right.
Pasty, so.
I am pasty. We just came out of wintertime in Michigan. Nobody's tan unless they're cheating.
That's true.
That's fair.
Or just naturally tan.
That's not a thing.
I'm so curious. I kind of want to watch.
I'm going to start on the far left and go to the right. Oh, I know what that is. I'm just kidding. Just like, yeah, right. All right, well, I got to get the skunk out of there. You know what I'm saying? If you catch me looking this direction, that's because I've got chat on this monitor. One of my monitors is out of commission with the way this whole thing is set up now. Normally, I've got chat right here, so it's easy. But now I'll be looking this way to catch up with chat. Well, the nose on this one is really nutty. It's real nutty. You gonna hang out? Get out of my trash, Loon. I'm talking to the dog, not my wife. My wife's not down there rummaging in the trash. Yeah, nose on this one's real nutty. Like toffee roasted peanuts, you know, the kind that are
Curious to see how you do.
in season in the Christmas time. I'm a sucker for toffee roasted nuts. Neighbor may be smoking something. Well, it wasn't that though. Like Steph and I, our first apartment was kind of in a jank part of town. It was dirt cheap. Loved that. But if we opened the windows most nights, you would smell some recreational stuff. Pretty potent. So I know what that smells like. That's definitely skunk though. What I'm smelling tonight. Yeah, it's real sweet, kind of buttery. My good Christian suburbs. Those were not good Christian, and it certainly wasn't the burbs either. It was not suburbs. Okay, so chats, they want to know, so they know what I'm tasting. Is the left to right from here the first one you poured?
The one you are tasting is the last one I poured.
So the one I'm tasting now is the last she poured.
The fourth one.
So this is the fourth. Should I go the other way then? For chat?
Oh, they probably.
It's easy for me to look and go left to right. Yeah, nutty, buttery, sweet. Let's try it. My palate's a lot more peppery. Got a healthy dose of spice to it than I expected on the nose. What's she giggling at her? She's got her head on your foot.
Yes, and then look.
She's gonna drool on it. You have a wet sock.
Resting on my foot.
I wanted to, but I won't tell him the story about tonight. Well, saying wet sock made me think of a different.
I wanted to.
Man, on the nose, it kind of makes me think of like either a Jim Beam or a Wild Turkey product. But the palate is a little bit spicier than I would expect it to be. But it could be that it's my first sip. You know, my palate's not like all warmed up or anything.
Wine tasting.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Yeah, Bob's Burgers wine tasting one.
David just requested I put in the spit jar.
The spit jar. If you've never seen that episode of Bob's, it's really good. I wonder if this is finished in something, because it's kind of... There's something else in there that feels like it might be the effects of a secondary barrel or something. Matt, you are correct. Yeah, because on the palate, there's also something kind of fruity in there. Kind of grapey. Yeah, so Matt's referring to our virtual tasting. Well, it's a virtual like bottle share, essentially. Think of it like whiskey show and tell. But since we're in all different places, we're gonna order like some sample bottles, and we'll fill one of these up for every person that signs up. So you're gonna pick a bottle to share, and then divvy it up into different samples and ship those samples out to everybody. So you're shipping out samples from one bottle, but you're going to receive samples from, I think we got 10 people so far are signed up. So you're going to receive a wide variety of bottles to try. And then we'll split it up into different nights, so we're not trying 10 whiskeys in one night, because I don't think that would be a responsible thing to do. But we'll split it up into 2 nights, and we'll do it in the Discord, and we'll do our whiskey show and tell. So it's when it's your night. You'll be like, here's my bottle, just show it off. Here's what you're tasting. This is why it's important to me, or why I like this bottle. Stuff like that. It'll be fun. So if you wanted to sign up for that, it's for Patreon members. But again, the base tier of Patreon is only $1 a month. So it's dirt cheap. And then you can go up from there and get different access to different things. But anyways, so you're welcome if you're a Patreon supporter to sign up for that. The sign up sheet is in the Discord in the Patreon lounge. Okay.
I want to find out.
Okay, you'll see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
And the more I taste that, I think this is pardon me. I'm gonna take notes so I don't forget. Glass 1. Here's what I'm gonna say. Glass 1. This was nutty nose, grapey on palate, maybe finish, maybe finished, and I don't think it's a super high proof. It's yummy. I like it, but maybe like low hundreds, high 90s for proof. Low hundreds, high 90s. I'm just taking some notes for me so that when I go to rank these later, I can remember what I tasted. What kind of finish? Oh, don't do that to me. Well, it makes me think, if you wanted me to be honest, where my head is going right now is one of these. Because that finish that I'm getting is kind of like a deep, dark, richy, kind of, not like a bright sherry or kind of a finish, but more like cognac or vermouth. That's the kind of finish I'm getting on that. Are you left-handed? I am. That's an astute observation. Most people don't pay attention to that stuff. I am left-handed. All right, I'm going to move on to the next one, but I'll write this down. Maybe Eastern Kill finish. Question mark. Because I'm just warming my palate up. I could be way off base. My glass 2. So this is your glass 3 in the order that she poured them. TV live? Wow. I am. Yeah. So let me write this down. Glass 2. Boom. Okay, hold up. The nose of this one, I'm in my own head already. The nose of this one smells. Did I get ahead of myself? Now I'm kind of thrown for a loop. Because the nose of this one makes me think of these two. Is it just that it was already on my mind? Sometimes that's how it is. Like you think of something and your brain sort of modifies what you're tasting to match the profile that you think something is. You get in your own head. There's a little bit of rye on the nose. But it's not a rye, I don't think. But there's rye in the mash. But it's way more fruity on the nose than the last one was. I would say this one has a little more rye influence, some yellow fruits in there, but it's also got some red fruits as well, which makes me think that, which is why I'm thinking one of these. Finished. Hang on a second. I'm going to sip it. Buttered skunk nuts. Well, shoot. It's very sweet. Our finish has a ton of brown sugar, and I think of maple syrup. Yeah. I think of maple syrup for sure coming through strong. Taking notes. Maple. Little rye spice in there. Very sweet. Kind of a buttered popcorn note in there. What a great note. What a great note. Some buttered popcorn in there. Man, I freaking love that. And then the fruit note in there is more figgy. While the last one was grapey, this one's figgy. Hang on a second. I'm going to revisit the first one. Hmm. Hmm. Y'all being tricky now, aren't you, David? Being tricky, aren't you? Thoughts on scotch? I like scotch. Yeah, so I cut my whiskey teeth on scotch, not bourbon, surprisingly. I'm more a bourbon and rye guy nowadays, but I started with scotch. So my wife's uncle was the one that got me into whiskey. You good?
It smells like skunk.
It does smell like
How
scotch.
did it go?
I'm not done. I've done two.
Guess though?
I haven't made formal guesses on what they are,
All right.
which isn't really the plan. I might do it if I get a little cocky. But the plan was really just to taste them, give some notes, and then rank them, and then reveal what they are. But anyway, so I cut my whiskey teeth on scotch because my wife's uncle, we'd go out to visit in Colorado, and he had like a walk-in humidor and then like a full collection. He would take like sabbaticals to Scotland, specifically the island of Islay. So he had tons of Islay scotches. He'd go like from distillery to distillery. So I had a bunch of like Coolila, the Lagavulin, Lafroig, a lot of the Islay scotches. So that's kind of where I started. I really liked, I grew to like a lot of Pete just with the flights we would do with him. I found out I'm not a cigar guy. I know a lot of people like cigar and cigars and whiskeys together. I found out I'm not a cigar guy. I gave it a fair shake. I gave it a fair shake, but it wasn't my thing. But it was because I could still taste the cigar 3 days later. You have one cigar, 3 days later, I'm still tasting it. I brush my teeth 4 times a day. And my wife she wouldn't kiss me anymore. Not that she kisses me much anyways.
Oh, gosh. Here we go.
I'm leaving. So, anyways, but yeah, on my, you see right in this top left corner is where I keep the scotches. So I've got Lagavulin, Talisker there. Those 2 bottles were actually gifted to me a year apart by a guy in chat right now, Kale. So he gave me Lagavulin 16 last year, and then he was just here visiting 2 weeks ago and gave me the Talisker. But I've also got Lafroig up there. I've got some blended scotch with Monkey Shoulder because that mixes really well. I've also got a German single malt that another one of my buddies gave me. And that thing is growing on me. It's so fruity. Very sweet, very fruity. But I like it quite a bit. Oh, hey! Look at that. Hey, Taurus, if you're in chat right now, Torridus. If you're in chat right now, welcome to the Patreon crew. Thanks so much for subscribing. Appreciate that support. Very kind of you. Everyone say, welcome, Torridus. That's Torridice. Boom. All right, I'm going to move on to the third one. I didn't want to just like pound them, you know what I mean? But man, that's so much fruit on that second one. I'm Tortoise. Other places. Welsh. Welcome. There he is. That's the one. Okay. Pecans. On the nose. Pecan pie. Because there's a sweet caramel note in there, but also like a savory bread, which makes you think of like a pie crust. Pecan pie on the nose. Maybe a little bit of red apple in there too. That's pretty rich. Yeah, that's a beautiful nose. It's also sort of that barrel funk note I get on a lot of well-aged bourbon. I get that on the nose of this. Beautiful. Is the music in the background too loud? I just got some ambient music going on. Hopefully it's not distracting or overbearing. Cheers from the north. First time joining you live. Gunner, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Happy to have you. If you're just tuning in, I'm doing a blind. I don't know what any of these are. So I did a raffle, and the Patreon member that won the raffle selected 4 whiskeys from my full inventory, emailed the list to my wife. She poured them. By the way, this would be glass 2 from what you guys saw her pour. This is my glass 3. Okay, so no, I should take notes on this so I can keep up with it. Glass 3. So we said some good barrel funk. We said pecan pie. We said, yeah, because a little bit of cinnamon and red apple. That's a beautiful nose. And lots of oak, too. Let's try it. Okay, that's really good. That is really good. The palate has like a burnt sugar note to it, which makes it think of creme brulee, but because it's really creamy too, like the pudding, the custard in the creme brulee. That's freaking delicious. David, thank you for picking this one because it's very tasty. Is chill good volume? I can't hear it. Glad you like it. It's yours. I'll bring that up a little bit more then. Ooh. It's got a little bit of heat to it. This nice subtle spice, like cinnamon and oak, sort of underlying the whole thing. Sweet on top with that burnt sugar note. I think creme brulee is a great way to describe this. Yeah. I could sip that all night. That is really good. Kind of oily in the glass, too. That might be the highest proof of any of the ones that we've tried tonight. Part of me wants to make an accusation about what this might be. I know who you are, you know what I mean? Thrice, I love a good sherry finished rye. Actually, I recorded the sherry finished Sagamore video today. And I was going to edit it, but then my PC died and I had to take it in for emergency maintenance. So I didn't have time to edit it, but I did record it. And it was delicious. You have to give us a guess? That drink's like Bardstown to me. It's really good. Whatever it is, it's real good. I almost think like it takes me to like Bardstown Disco 11 places, but there's also, the more I sip it, the more it opens up to more like leather and some of those dark rich tobacco notes, which makes me think of even like the cigar blend. But either way, it makes me think, first and foremost, I guess, if I had to take a stab, I think maybe Bardstown. Yeah. Either way, it's phenomenal. I'm gonna move on to number 4. I'll taste this will be your first one, by the way. It'll be my fourth. But I'll taste the last one. We'll take some notes. Hang on. Speaking of notes, Bardstown ? We'll take some notes on the last one, and then I will rank them in terms of my preference tonight. And then if I feel confident, maybe I'll take a stab at some of them. But primarily the goal here is to rank them and then reveal what they are. Sound good? Last one. Okay, I'm sweating bullets, guys. I gotta ditch the flannel. I apologize. You're going to, if this is your warning, if you want to go grab sunglasses, it's fine. Listen, we're coming out of winter in Michigan, so I'm gonna be pasty and pale. All right, it is what it is. This is full transparency for you guys. All right. My eyes. But you don't have to rub it in, okay? A little bit of allspice on the nose of this one. You know, baking spices. Think of like cinnamon and nutmeg. Brown sugar. A little more subtle than the last one. Yeah, drink more when more clothes come off, something like that. You guys like Gollum. It burns is precious. Mom, I'm getting bullied by chat. What's up, TV? Hey, Kellen. Hey, we're doing good. We're living the dream. Can't complain. Man, this one's also kind of nosing like a Bardstown, too. Real great seasoned bourbon, like aged, mature bourbon notes on this. Some good dusty warehouse on the nose. That allspice. I think of a cinnamon roll. You know, the icing in there, the frosting, the gooey cinnamon innards, but also sort of the savory note of the bread, too. I had a buddy, I was chatting with him yesterday. We were doing some gaming together. He was like, I tried to do what you do on your whiskey channel, where you shove your whole nose in the Glencairn, and then I took a big old whiff, and it hurt. I couldn't smell anything for hours. I was like, bro, what are you doing? No, I stick my nose in, but I draw through the mouth. He was like, oh. I was like, yeah, you're going to kill yourself, man. Yeah. If you want to get under the ethanol in the oak, that's one of the things people recommend you do is nose in the glass and then draw through the mouth. A deep breath. And that'll pull through the nose too, but more subtly. And it'll kind of reciprocate things through your olfactories. And you can get underneath the ethanol in the oak. Hey, Matt, thanks for the $2 dono. Here comes the tips for ditching the shirt. That'll help put a dent in the $200 I spent to be able to do this stream tonight with the freaking emergency maintenance on my PC. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's a great nose. Let's try it. Here you go, so you can see the color of the whiskey. There you go, guys. I'm going to put this perfectly white background behind this for you so you can see what it is. There. I got to mirror everything. There, now you can see the color of the whiskey nice and clear. Beautiful. Reminds me of Space Jam, right? Where he says, he's talking about Larry Bird. He's like, Larry Bird is not white. Larry is clear. I was like, I resonate with that. That's me. Send live buses. Yay, Gorgnac. Thanks for the $10 dono. I appreciate that, man. That's super kind of you. Pardon me. That comment about buses, by the way, goes back years. Because I said something. I've tried to make a joke about the send nudes joke, right? But it auto-corrected nudes to buses. So when I typed it out and hit enter on Twitter, it said send buses instead of nudes. And I still get clowned on for that mistake. Okay, it tastes young. The nose kind of threw me off. The nose smelled like it had some great warehouse dusty qualities to it. Palate tastes a little young though. Almost like a mixer bourbon. I'm going to feel bad if it's like a $200 bottle. And I say that tonight. But it could be just that I've been sipping on 3 different whiskeys before getting to this one. By the way, thanks for the likes on the stream. Those are really helpful. The more I sip it, though, the more like caramely, like buttery caramel comes forward. Interesting. We'll take some notes here. Let me do a quick flyby of these, and then I'll rank them. Mixer Bourbon Fun. Hey, David. Thanks for the $5 dono, brother. Appreciate you. He's the one that picked this blind tonight, by the way. So, if anything goes awry, you can blame him. Huh. Alright, I'm going to do a quick flyby of all these real quick. Take some final notes, and then rank them. Alright? So this is your my glass 1, your glass 4. I said it was nutty on the nose. I said it had sort of a grapey note on the palate. Maybe finished. In terms of proof point, I said maybe low hundreds, high 90s. Nose on this one is very different than the one we were just sipping. Got a crisp, clean note to it. Awry, no pun intended, that's right. I can't help it, Sean. My body craves buttery goodness. I know your reference. That's a Psych reference. For the record, they're doing their first Psych convention ever this year in June 8th through the 9th in Chicago. And I just might go because I love Psych. You know what? I'm going to do something weird here, okay? I'm going to grab the bottle off the shelf that it reminds me of. And this isn't me saying this is what it is. This is me saying this is what it reminds me of. just on the off chance we get something right. Okay? I kicked the table. Everything's fine. Fine. That reminds me of that. Last two. Oh man, I told you guys maple. I told you guys maple on this one. I go in to nose this one and it smells exactly like maple syrup. I said it had a little bit of rye spice, but it was also really sweet. It made me think of buttered popcorn as well. And that one tastes like Eastern Kill distillate to me too. Tastes like Eastern Kill distillate. Your glass 2, my glass 3. Hey, Jingle, I was just talking about you. Of course, you own a Madcap Coffee shirt. Heck yeah, man. It's one of my favorite roasteries in the country. You're brutal to that Wild Turkey 12 here. Yeah, when I did the Wild Turkey blind, I gave it dead last place and put 101 in first. I'll never live that down. That's kind of why I'm happy I crushed the last blind, the rye blind. Because I needed to earn some points back. That is so freaking good. Mm-hmm. that makes me think of this. Last one. I own Alma coffee mug. I've got Madcap mugs too. I like them because they fit perfectly in the minivan cup holder for the driver's seat. None of my mugs fit that perfectly except the Madcap one. So I wash that one by hand almost every day because dropping off the kids at the school in the morning, gotta have a cup of Joe. Delicious dairy. Butter. All butter. This is just butter on the nose. Still tastes young to me. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just my palate tonight. What's it make me think of? In terms of what it makes me think of, I could go two ways here. I could go with Old Granddad, Bottled and Bond. I could also go with Wild Turkey, Kentucky Spirit. So, I've got the bottles laid down there. These aren't official guesses, by the way. This is just what came to mind, okay? What came to mind. Now, let me rank these. So, I think I'm going to go with my glass 3. So, the second one my wife poured is my first place. I'm going to write down a 1 right there. 1. My glass 2, the third one my wife poured, that's going to be my second place. The first glass I tasted, which would be the last one my wife poured, that's going to be my third place. My glass 4, the first one she poured, last place. Boom. Old Granddad Bond makes a good old fashioned. That's why I have it. That's why I have it. That's what I used to make old fashions when Kale, who, I don't know if he's still in chat, he was in chat earlier. He came to visit a couple weeks ago. I made some old fashions. I did smoked old fashions. I used my new torch I got and applewood chips. It's really good. Really good. Okay, so I'll start with the last place. We'll reveal what that one was. My last place. Ready? And my last place goes to... I said Old Granddad. It's actually Baker's. This is a 7-year. It's not bad. It's a Baker 7. So this one right here is what it actually is. Let me grab the bottle. So this is a Jim Beam product. 7 years. They always proof it down to 107. It is a single barrel. So Baker is his nickname. But Baker is the one that picks the barrels himself. They proof them down to 107. They're always 7 years minimum. This one is 7 years, 5 months. My last one I had, I think, tasted better than this one. My last one was almost 8 years old. So, there's your last place for the day. Boom. Baker 7. All right, I'm moving on. Next one. Which would be my third place was glass 1. Really? That is Penelope Toasted. I said it was Nutty Nose. What else did I say about that one? It said it was kind of grapey. Kind of grapey, maybe finished. It was finished, but not in anything like that. Penelope Toasted. This won my... Didn't this win my toasted blind I did? I think I did a toasted barrel aligned. And this one took first place, I think, in the blind. For toasted ones. But that's a great bottle. So far, these are pretty solid picks, Dave. But Penelope Toasted. I like that one quite a bit. I've had that one for a while, too. It's really had a lot of time to open up. Did you track the serial number on their website? I did not for that one. No, not for this one. This is my second bottle of Baker's I've ever personally owned. I killed the first bottle actually pretty quick because I really liked it. And then when I got this bottle specifically, since it's a single barrel. So the first bottle I loved and I killed it. This one, I tasted it and I was like, huh. So I think that's why this one took last place. Because I don't think I got a great barrel this time. But at least I'm consistent because that kind of goes hand in hand with that's consistent with my feelings about that particular bottle. Because the last one I had, like I said, really liked it. If you look at my last comment, wasn't my cup of tea. If you try it, very different. Anything I've tried. What did I miss? Long story short, I was at a resort in Florida for work and they had a bottle of the Boss Hog, $150. They charge you $150 for a pour? I said, nope. Good. But a high up at my company said, put it on my tab. So naturally I did. I'm still here. Okay, good kill. Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? I'm thankful you guys to try it too. Well, do you know which one it was? Because different Boss Hogs, every Boss Hog is different than the last. So it certainly depends on which one you did. I have an 8-year and I love it. Yeah, my last one was, like I said, my last Baker's was close to 8 years and I thought it was fantastic. All right, second place, which was my glass 2. Let's see what that is. I called it! Eastern Kill Vermouth! Ya boy got it. Okay. When I don't know any of the bottles that are in the blind, I feel like that's a big win to be able to pick that out of, whatever. How many were on the list I sent you, David? Like 50 whiskeys? To be able to pick one out of that blind and say, I know what that is. I'm going to celebrate that. Heck yeah. You're dang right I'm going to celebrate that. Eastern Kill Vermouth finish. Hey, if you've never had any Eastern Kill stuff, I recommend you try it. I've actually already poured a sample of this for Matt in chat. I just got to ship it off to him, which I was going to do today. But then my PC died. And then I had to run all over God's green earth and scramble. But anyways, this was hard. Yeah, I'll take that W for sure, Brian. But anyways, I love this bottle, which is why it's as low as it is, because I reach for it fairly often. This one and the cognac finished bourbon. Both of them are fantastic. I like their branding. The other one that that one right there, that's also Eastern Kill. That one's called Gray Disguise because their original name used to be Gray Skies Distillery. Gray Skies Distillery. But then Grey Goose was like, we're going to sue you. You can't use the word gray. We own the word gray. We own the color. We own everything. Screw you. And Eastern Kill, just a couple of guys starting a distillery, they can't fight Grey Goose in the courts, so they just conceded. Like, okay, fine, chill. And so they had to rebrand as Eastern Kill, Kille. And so because of that, most liquor stores in West Michigan refuse to sell Grey Goose products. They're like, screw you guys. You gonna be that petty to people in Michigan, we ain't gonna sell your product no more. How about that? So most of the like small town liquor stores just refuse to put Grey Goose on their shelves, just as a way of spiting them, sticking up their middle finger. So anyways, so this is Eastern Kill's sort of clap back. This bottle right here is called Grey Disguise. Right? Grey Disguise, which phonetically sounds like gray skies. Oh, that's a clap back. But this one's interesting because they use 3 different Michigan whiskeys in a blend. One of them is a Michigan single malt, one is a Michigan bourbon, one is a Michigan rye. And it's the ratios in the blend are their ratios for their bourbon, which is 70-20-10. So 70% of this is their bourbon. 20% of it is a Michigan rye. 10% is a Michigan single malt. Kind of cool. But anyways, I'll take that. So second place goes to Eastern Kill Vermouth Finish. Okay, my first place. I said maybe it's Bardstown. Kind of tasted like Bardstown. But this got first place. Let's see what it was. I haven't looked yet. Well, how about that? 1792 Full Proof. 1792 Full Proof. That is, let me grab it. Right here. 1792 Full Proof. That's a great bottle. That is a great bottle. So that comes from Barton. Barton Distillery. Barton 1792. So they do a lot of contract distilling too. So a lot of times if someone's like finishing away, they bought barrels from somebody to finish, and they're like, oh, we got this from a Kentucky distiller. A lot of times it's from Barton. For example, if you ever go to Total Wine, they will try to get you to buy Chestnut Farms, which is right here on the shelf, right there. Because it's their Total Wine contracted out Bardstown. Boop, these guys. No, I'm sorry, Bardstown. Barton. They contracted out Barton to distill whiskey for them and to put their label on it. And so this is so much more value for your money than Chestnut Farms will ever be. Because Chestnut Farms is basically Barton distillate with a premium. So it's like, hey, our bottled and bond for Chestnut Farms brand, our bottle and bond is going to cost you $100. And Barton is like, we will sell you $17.92 bottled and bond for, and what's the bottom? It's like $70 maybe, $60, $70, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I sent you $17.92 way back when, James. The world may never. That's right. We got those 2 flip flopped. No, you're absolutely right. But anyways, this is a great bottle, and some stores will actually do picks. They'll do picks of 1792. If you ever see one, I recommend you grab it. It's a great bottle. But Barton, with their juice, they know what they're doing. It's really good stuff. So, which is why a lot of people will pay them to make their distillate, for them. So, anyways, that is the ranking tonight. First place, 1792 Full Proof. Second place goes to Eastern Kill Vermouth Finished. The only one I was able to pick out of the blind. Penelope Toasted. Great bottle, by the way. Third place. Last place goes to Baker 7. Which I think is because, I think frankly, if it was my other Baker's bottle, I think it would jump up at least 1 place. Maybe even 2. Because that last one was really good. But it's sort of like the nature of the game with single barrel offerings in general. Sometimes you get a banger barrel. Sometimes you get a dud. I think this one's a little bit of a dud. But anyways, yeah. Let me grab the Eastern Kill. The vermouth. Man, that's so mapley on the nose. I love it. I can't wait for you. I can't wait for you to try this one, Matt. Like I said, I've already poured your sample. I just need to get those sent out. But I'm really anxious to hear what you had to say about it. Eastern Kill, their finished stuff is sort of an experience pour. It's not the kind of thing you reach for all the time, but it's really unique, right? I have to go back to EK Distillery. I haven't been there in over a year, so I haven't tried any of their newer releases. Yeah, so they're really coming of age now. Hmm. Yeah, that's like a Manhattan in a whiskey with the vermouth. That's great. Do they have their mash on here? I don't know if they do. I think they do. This one was MSRP for the vermouth finish is surprisingly only $55. $55 MSRP for that, which is at least a 4-year-old bourbon, and then finished for an undisclosed amount of time in vermouth barrels. Some of those low proof early bottles were not great, to say it nicely. Yeah, so they started out really small operation, and because of that, this is sort of the nature of the game when it comes to craft distilling. Is you're like, well, we need to take out a loan to start our business, and then in your pitch, you're like to whoever's giving you the loan, you're like, hey, by the way, what we're doing is whiskey, so it's not going to be ready. We're not going to make any money for 4 years. We're going to spend a lot of money, but we're not going to make any money for 4 years. Is that cool? And your loan is like, your loan provider's like, no, that does not sound great. I don't like that at all. So what they have to do is put out young whiskey, source whiskey, and also put out like neutral grain stuff. So they're like vodka, gin, where it's just like, hey, it came off the still, it's ready. Don't put it in a barrel, don't age it, just send it right out the door. Off the still, into the glass, into a cocktail. So Eastern Kill opened up like a little cocktail bar, East Town, Grand Rapids, and they, gin, vodka, and then they had lots of cocktail recipes. So that's how they started generating revenue initially. It was just neutral grain spirits. But now that their whiskey is coming of age, right here, it's coming of age. It's getting older. It's getting some, some age on it, some maturity. It's not so youthful. Now it's starting to taste a lot better, frankly. Because I agree with you, some of their early stuff was not great, but that's because it was their earliest bottles were like 2-year-old ryes, and they finished them in maple syrup barrels to try to compensate a bit for the youthfulness of it. It was just okay, but they've come a long way since then. My goal, hopefully, is to get the whole lineup of Rock Filter Distilleries whiskey. Heck yeah! So that rye, by the way, Thrice, I really liked it. I finished that whole sample you gave me. I recorded the video. I poured half of it, which because you gave me in the sample bottle you sent me was like enough for 2 full pours. So I poured half of it out to record that video for the rye, and then it was as soon as I finished recording the video, I started editing it. And as I'm hearing myself talk about it, I was like, yeah, I'm going to pour the rest of that right now. So I did. So as I was editing the video, I had the whole second pour because it was just so stinking good. It really was. So if you guys haven't seen that video, by the way, the review on the Rock Filter Rye, check it out because it was exceptional. It was like an autumn whiskey for sure. Grand Traverse Distilling Company's early whiskeys were good, but they took that vodka and gin route to make profit. I mean, it's kind of what you have to do as a craft distillery. It's not uncommon. Was not a fan at all. Young earthy taste. So I prefer out of Traverse City instead of Grand Traverse. I prefer Traverse City Whiskey Company. Traverse City Whiskey Company. Their single barrel proof bourbon is really good, by the way. And their wheated bourbon barrel proof is also getting a lot of praise these days, too. So I think Sealbox and Bourbon Outfitter both struck deals with them and started stocking some of their their single barrel products. And that started to really give them a little bit of a reputation outside of Michigan, which I think they earned because those products are really, really good. So I don't like their standard offerings from Traverse City Whiskey Company. Their older stuff, the stuff that isn't sourced, by the way, that stuff's good. Their own juice at barrel proof that's at least 4 to 6 years old, real good, real good. Yeah, very grain forward. Yes, I agree. Traverse City Whiskey Company is the better. Yeah, yeah, for sure, Gunner. I'll grab a bottle for you then. Going to be at my local liquor outlets tomorrow. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really did like that. Actually, they're I have a pretty strong inclination that they buy their bottles from the same bottle company as Eastern Kill because the shape is the same. The shape and the cork and the picture that you sent me were identical. The branding was different, but I was like, I recognize that bottle shape. So, bottling is kind of important to me. And so there are some distilleries where I'm like, guys, you got to step up your game. So, for example, not tomorrow, but Saturday morning, New Holland, technically New Holland Brewing Company, but now they do whiskey as well. They are doing their quarterly release of their toasted barrel lineup. They have 4 of them. So I don't remember all the names off the top of my head, but one is like apple pie. Toasted barrel apple pie is the name of it because those particular barrels came out with apple and cinnamon notes. One of them is honey, toasted honey, because those barrels came out with a honey note to them. So on and so forth. One's just standard. I forget what the 4th one is off the top of my head. But I'm going to wait in line. I'm going Saturday morning. I'm going to show up an hour early, wait in line, and try and grab at least 2 of those bottles. One of them, I'm hoping to be the one that I split up into the samples and send out to those of you in the Patreon group that signed up for our virtual bottle share. So you'll get like a brand new release that not a lot of people are going to get their hands on. Actually, the Bourbon Junkies recently covered those bottles. They got early bottles from New Holland, and they raved about them. And obviously, these are like career bourbon reviewers that most people really trust their palates, and they loved them. But in that video, they were a few sheets to the wind, I will say, because they recorded it on the road, and they were it was kind of funny. So Bourbon Junkies, if you never checked out their channel, you should. But they're literally in the middle of like a round of golf and pulled over to the side of the fairway. They're in a golf cart, and one of their buddies is just recording the video with the camera. And they're sitting in the golf cart, feet up on the dash, trying these whiskeys instead of being in their normal place. They have like a really nice studio and all that stuff where they record their videos. Really high quality stuff. But this one was funny. They were just sitting in a golf cart, a few sheets to the wind, be like, oh, that's freaking delicious, man. It was pretty funny. I liked it. Dragon's Milk is the best bottles, hands down. So I was going to, thanks for getting me back on track. I mentioned that bottling matters. So New Holland, I don't have a bottle right now to show you because I killed my bottle. But New Holland, their Dragon's Milk Origin series has an incredible bottle design. It's a bottle that's like black but semi-transparent, not fully transparent, but it gets more transparent towards the top, and the whiskey is almost like an amber color. And the bottle itself is designed to look like dragon scales. So as you come to the top of the bottle and you see the amber shining through as it gets more transparent, it looks so cool. It's a really great bottle design. Can you somehow convince them to release to the wider Midwest? The fact that I can't get their whiskey here in Minnesota makes me very, very sad. Well, I should send you. Thrice, are you in our virtual bottle share? Because if you are, you're gonna get a sample of their stuff. But otherwise, maybe sometime you and I should swap a bottle. I can pick up something of theirs and send it to you, even if it's just their standard origin bottle. It's a great bottle design. It looks really good on your shelf. Yeah. One of the coolest bottle designs. It's really freaking cool. It reminds me of Puncher's Chance bottle with the scales. I don't know what that is, man. I'm not familiar with that. You tell everyone. Oh yeah. So sign up for our virtual bottle share ends tomorrow afternoon. We're gonna cut it off. I think we already have at least 10 people signed up. So I think we're doing 1 ounce samples. Is that Matt? Is that what we agreed on? Is 1 ounce samples? Because there's so many people signing up. If we do 2 ounce pours, you would have to get a second bottle, right? If you were to pour 2 ounce samples for 12 people, you would need 2 bottles of whatever it is you're sharing. So I think correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're doing 1 ounce samples. That way you don't have to buy a second bottle just to have enough juice to go around. You know what I mean? I might be down tomorrow and join you in the line. Gunner, if that's the case, man, Saturday morning, I'm going to be there. They open at 10. So New Holland, they've got 2 locations. They've got their main location in Holland, Michigan. That's a half-hour drive for me. But then they have a secondary location, which is in downtown Grand Rapids, west side. It's called the Knickerbocker. And that's where I'm going to be because it's 15-minute drive as opposed to a 30-minute drive. So I'm going to go to the Knickerbocker location where they're going to release some bottles as well, and I'm going to show up at 9 because doors open at 10. So I'm going to hop in line at 9. I'm going to wait. I'm also in line. I'm actually going to be swapping bottles with a guy in my local whiskey club because he's going too, and we've been talking back and forth. He's like, here's my lineup, or here's my collection, and I picked 3 off his shelf, and I sent him mine, and he picked 3 off my shelf. So we're gonna wait in line together, swap samples, and buy bottles at the same time. It'll be great. That's like the best part of whiskey, is the camaraderie. Anyways, I'm catching up with chat. Might drive down tomorrow and join you. I already read that. At least 1 ounce right before live. I said I have 2 ounce bottles, so that's what I'm sending. Okay, so it's just sort of, it's a personal preference then. The bottles I'm buying are close to $100 a pop. So I might just do 1. That way I don't have to buy $200 of whiskey to send out. You know what I'm saying? I ain't made of money. Quinn Hardy, love your D2 content. Just got into drinking whiskey and bourbon. Hey, Quinn, hey, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, Destiny has that effect on a lot of people. We start on Destiny, we end up in whiskey. I kid, but yeah. Yeah, thanks for coming over. I appreciate that. A lot of the people that support my whiskey content came from my gaming content, so that means a lot to me. Yeah, glad you're here. 1 ounce is the ante. Beyond that is generous. Sounds good. You ain't wrong. I'll just split the bottle across the samples. Probably end up somewhere between 1 and 2 ounces. Sure, that makes sense, Tortoise. A natural progression of D2. Okay, so for those, I'll keep it short for those of you who are just here for the whiskey content. But short tangent, if you are into Destiny, I have it on good authority, and by good authority, I mean I know people at the studio. Skill-based matchmaking is gone. Outside of comp, that is. Outside of comp, it's gone. The only thing in control right now is outlier protection, like I've been pushing for years. Even though when you hover over the playlist, it says prefers opponents of similar skill, it's a lie. I didn't tell you that. But anyways, old-fashioned ways. Cheers. Cheers indeed. Cheers indeed. Maybe I'll turn it back on then. Yeah, it's just outlier. Well, the problem is I would wait a week, honestly, because they've got the Guardian Games event going on right now. So everyone's just playing Supremacy. They're not in control, so you're not going to actually sense a change because the control population is like 0. There's nobody in there. So wait. Give it a week. Give it a week. I think there's no recorded proof of TV spilling the tea. That's right. Hey, I'm under NDA for a lot of things. That's not one of them. I never break NDA. Never. That's a great bottle. Kale, next time you're up, tell me to pour you some of this. I think you'll like that. Barrel Pick News. Thank you for reminding me. I have bad news, Randy. And for those of you, Some of you guys may have been there when I did the Just Discord live stream where Wyoming Whiskey sent me samples from 4 different barrels and I tried them live in a Discord stream. And I picked my favorite and I got back to them. I said, this is the one that we picked. We would love to have this. And this was going to be like our first Dramguard barrel pick. Well, eventually they got back to me and they said, that's a bummer because we actually, unfortunately, overbooked that barrel. And by overbooked, we mean that we liked it so much we decided to keep that barrel after we had already sent you the samples and bottle it up for this like executive thing they were doing, like board members and all that business. So part of me is like, cool that my palate is good enough to say that's the best one and that the people that make the stuff agree. But also, that kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. I really liked that one. And they were like, we can send you a full new lineup of stuff. And I said, yeah, sure, I guess. And then they never did. So, yeah. So at this point, if they show up, I don't know that I even want to commit to it. You know what I mean? Kind of on principle. I was kind of mad about that. Not mad. I guess not mad. But I was like, I was genuinely bummed. Because I really liked that barrel that we sampled. Yeah. I'll rip. Great pick, though. Yeah. I was kind of bummed. So, anyways. Yeah, they decided to keep that barrel. They're like, it kind of sucks that you picked that one. I was like, yeah, well. I guess it is what it is. I'm just a lowly... I mean, to be fair, it's not like we've got a lot of clout on the Whiskey channel yet. My channel is tiny. I think we've got... What are we up to? Like a little over 4,000 subscribers on the Whiskey channel, which to me feels great. Like, that's awesome. I love that because that channel is a year and a half old, right? A year and a half? So that feels really good to me. But from the outside looking in, it's tiny. And it's not going to give me any bargaining power. Like, they're like, okay, run off and tell your 4,000 subscribers not to buy our whiskey. Sure, bud. You know what I mean? Anyways. If they send out for picks, they shouldn't be able to renege. I mean, I agree with you. But I'm too small of a whiskey channel to start burning bridges by getting mouthy with people. You know what I mean? So, kind of how I felt about it. I'm drinking the bottle I'm sending. Could have at least sent you a bottle. I don't know. I'm not going to get hung up on it. Stuff happens. And a lot of times it's really... I've learned this many times in the past 10 years. A lot of times something will happen that makes you think a lot less of somebody. And you'll run your mouth a little bit about it. And then you'll talk to that person. And then you'll get a little more clarity. And then it'll be like, oh, okay. That's all right. And then you kind of feel bad for running your mouth about him in the meantime. So, I've had that happen a lot. Enough that I just stopped running my mouth about people. But you haven't forgotten it. No, I only bring it up because I'm 4 pours deep, I suppose. Well, not full pours, but you know what I mean. Love to see you do a Minnesota distillery tour. There's some great seriously cool distilleries. I'm like never in Minnesota. The only time I'm in Minnesota, I'm several thousand feet above it. You know what I mean? I'm going over it. Because I do a fair amount of trips to the West Coast for my main work stuff, which isn't the Whiskey channel, it's the gaming channel. A lot of game developers are on the West Coast. So I do a lot of air travel west. So I'm over Minnesota fairly often. I'm never on the ground, though. I've never set foot in Minnesota. Minnesota is one of the few states I've never actually set foot in. I've been in most states. I think last I counted, I was over 30. I was over 30 states I'd been in. Minnesota, not one of them. But I was helping promote Oh, oh, the barrel pick, Randy. Maturity level up. Oh, about not running your mouth. Yeah. Motion at the front door. Oh, that means they're letting the dog out. Got it. But anyways, yeah, this is fun. I enjoy hanging out with you folks. I should do more. I'd like to do more blind live streams in general. So we'll make a habit out of this because this is frankly this is a really easy thing to do. Just run a raffle for the Patreon supporters. So I'll probably I don't know. I'll make a rule. Maybe it's like 3 raffles you have to sit out if you win. So David might have to sit out 3 raffles since he won and got to pick the blind tonight. But I would like to make a habit out of this and continue to do Patreon raffles, and the winner gets to pick my blind for the live stream. So I don't know. My goal is to maybe do this bi-weekly, every other week. But it's challenging because, I mean, I have one night stream on Friday nights every week now. I also have a bi-weekly podcast that I'm on that I have to co-host. So it's all about how many nights a week do I want to sacrifice to live streaming. But boo, I boo that idea, David. Well, it's so funny, David, because you had responded to my notification in Discord about, I was like, hey guys, I'm going to pull the raffle in like 20 minutes. And then you responded to it in lightning speed. You're like, hope I win. And then, I don't know, maybe you went to work or something, but you disappeared for a while. But it was 5 minutes after you responded. I was like, David, you won. They're like, yeah, man, that's, I was like, no shot, dude. It literally is you. Siri chose you. I'm sending you 4 samples to blind, whether it's live or just private, doesn't matter. Dude, I would love that, Randy. You guys are always welcome to send me stuff because you see all these samples down here. That's not even half of what you guys have sent. I still have more to go through. I've got quite a bit to go through. But you guys keep the content flowing because, I mean, truth be told, I can't afford to spend money on 4 bottles a week to review on the channel. So the fact that you guys send in samples, I appreciate that so freaking much because I get to keep content flowing without breaking the bank and spending money on all these bottles. I mean, it's a huge blessing to me into the channel. I would say most of the growth on the channel in the last year is because you guys have been sending in so many samples for me to try and to review live on the channel and make these videos. So I have more content going out there, and some of them have blown up. You know, some of them have done really, really well. I think some of the samples Matt has sent me, some of those videos have blown up. Thrice, some of the samples you sent me have done really well. Dairy, David. So David sent me samples of both of these two right here from Redwood, and he sent me the full Redwood lineup before that. And all of those videos actually generated a lot of like new viewership on the channel. So I'm really appreciative to you guys. Yeah. Really enjoyed the concept TV. I think it's a fun addition. Yeah, I'd like to do more of this for sure. If you do a blind bi-weekly, you aren't going to have any collection left very soon. Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer that whiskey should be drank. Like, I don't get annoyed by it, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, man, you took that bottle off the shelf just to put it on your, someone else could have bought that and enjoyed it. You bought it at the liquor store for a premium to put it on your shelf and never open it. I'm like, come on, man. Someone could have enjoyed that. You know what I mean? Trying to catch up on any chat I may have missed. This has been great. Really appreciate your time. Enjoy the Thursday night hanging out. Thanks for being here, Cap. I appreciate you as well. Thanks for coming in and supporting. And if you did show up, I appreciate all the likes on the stream. Those are the best free way to support content here. A selection, not a collection. That's a good way to put it, Randy. It's a selection, not a collection saying. Okay, yeah. So, wow, I've been in whiskey for so long. I've never heard that saying, and here you guys are educating me. I love it. That's good. Would you try Willet Weeded Purple Top? A lot of hate, but love it. Matt loves Purple Top. Matt gave me a pour of Willet Purple Top because Matt's one of the guys. So 2 of the 3 guys that came with me to Kentucky for our Kentucky trip in November, 2 of the 3 of them are in chat tonight. So Kale and Matt. And at the hotel room, because we stay at the same hotel, at the hotel room the night before our Jim Beam Fred B. No Distillery tour, Matt pulled out just a top shelf lineup of bourbons. And one of them was Purple Top. It was real freaking good. It was really good. Man, that was fun. It sure was. It was a blast. But I will tell you this. Oh my gosh, what a friggin' nightmare. So that trip, I rented a car to do the trip, right? Went to Hertz, rented a car, drove down, picked up Kale, and went down to Kentucky. On the way down, right? On the way down, I'm on the highway, driving in the rental, and the car in front of me kicks up a rock on the highway. The rock hits the windshield. The windshield cracks. I'm like, gosh dang it. Sure am glad I paid for the insurance protection on the vehicle. So I turned the vehicle in at the end of our Kentucky distillery trip. Come home, turn in the vehicle. I tell them, hey, rock kicked up on the highway, cracked the windshield. And they're like, well, you paid for the protection, so it's not a big deal. I mean, we'll fill out the incident report. You won't owe us a dime for that. I said, cool. I went home. A week later, I get a $400 charge on my card to replace the windshield of that stupid Kia, which sucked, by the way. That Kia sucked, Kale. I'm 5'10". Okay, I'm 5'9" and 3/4, but I'm 5'10", and my head was touching the roof of that friggin' Kia. But anyways, they charged me $400 to replace that windshield. So obviously I called, and no one answered. So I called again, and no one answered. I called the next day, and no one answered. I called and I called and I called and I called until finally I decided, friggin' screw it. I'm calling corporate. Called corporate, and they said, hey, that's a problem you need to take up with the branch. We can't help you. You got to talk to the branch. I'm like, I would love to talk to the branch. They don't answer their friggin' phone. They're like, we don't know what to tell you. Show up there, I guess. So I show up at Hertz at the airport, half an hour away, where I rented it from, because I needed it on a Sunday, and the only Hertz in the area that was open on a Sunday was the airport Hertz. So I go drive. I take off work, drive to the friggin' airport to go to the friggin' Hertz. I said, hey, you charged me $400 for this windshield that you told me I didn't owe you for. And they're like, oh my gosh, we are so sorry. We will take care of that right away, Mr. Ryan, sir. We will be right on that. By the end of the day, it will be done, sir. And you may know where this is going, but by the end of the day, it was not done, sir. Oh, no, it was not done, sir. It was not done. This was in November. It wasn't done by the end of November. It wasn't done by the end of December. I went in, I called and I called and I called and I called. I went in on January, and they said, oh my gosh, sir. You've been waiting so long for this to be rectified, sir. We are so sorry, sir. I said, can you say you are sorry and you will refund me in writing? They said, absolutely. They sent me an email. We are so sorry, sir. We will refund this immediately, sir. And it did not get refunded. So I called and I called and I called. February, I showed up. Hey, when the frick are you going to refund me? Because I'm collecting interest on this charge now. Oh my gosh, sir, we are so sorry, sir. We will take care of this right away, sir. It did not get taken care of. It has still been not taken care of. To this day, it is March 7th. I will tell you this. Don't ever rent from Hertz. Rent from friggin' Enterprise or somebody. Don't rent from Hertz. They're scummy, dude. Absolute scumlords. I talked to other people who said they rented a car from Hertz, turned it in when they were done, went on about their business. And then the next time they went on a business trip, they went to Hertz and said, hey, I'd like to rent a vehicle again. And they said, you're blacklisted because you stole our last vehicle and never brought it back. And they're like, what the frick are you talking about, bro? And they're like, yeah, Hertz said you didn't return the vehicle. It said that you stole it. And then they collected insurance on it. Yeah, I kid you not. Hertz has been reported as basically taking money from insurance by reporting vehicles stolen that were turned in. Isn't that wild? And then they got sued for it. So they decided to keep doing it so they could pay their bills. Friggin' wild. I'll never rent from Hertz. I regret it. They do that all the time. I know. It's friggin' wild. I never knew. That was a thing. Absolute BS, man. Yeah, so still to this day, I'm out $400 for that windshield and the interest that I've collected on that payment. Because, I don't pay it off because I keep being told we're going to refund it. So, anyways, I I got half of mine to just have it printed on a t-shirt, don't rent from Hertz, and just stand. I'll take a full day off and stand outside the rental offices of the airport with that shirt on. So as people are walking in there to rent a vehicle, they're just going to see my shirt that says don't rent from Hertz. And I'll just tell them, be like, hey man, I'm going to stand here until that money's in my account, right? I'm going to be here all day. So anyways, I'll stand with you, TV. Please do. Yeah. You should try Worst Ride Ever as a fun fifth pick to close out the night. Dairy. So what I'm gonna that reminds me. So my next blind I'm gonna record for a video is gonna be my American single malt blind, and in that blind I'm doing Westward, their standard American single malt. By the way, David, I did actually go and report to the credit card company, and that guy did not know what he was doing on the phone. It sounded like he was his first day working for Chase, and he had no clue what direction was up. I could have asked him to tie his shoe, and he'd be like, can you specify where on my body I might find a shoe? But anyways, at the end of that conversation, he said he'd try and find out what he can do, and then I got an email notification that said, oh, this charge is legitimate. And I'm like, I literally gave you the documentation in writing that says it is not my fault. That they said. They admitted fault. Anyways, neither here nor there. Anyways, so I'm going to do an American single malt blind. Sorry, I can speak. And so Westward Distillery is going to be in there. The Foggy Burl from Redwood Empire. What was the... trying to remember which ones. I've got it written down somewhere in my notebook that I write down my videos in. Was it Westland? It might be Westland. And then the fourth one is actually the one that I said was reminded me of dirty gym socks. Remember that? So anyways, yeah. So I wanted to throw that in there and have my wife pour the blind and then not know which one is the one I said tasted like gym socks. So that it would be funny if by chance I rated that one really well in the blind. I'm talking about the sample I sent you. Which one, Derry, did I say that I didn't like? The Pendleton. Oh, I haven't tried that one yet. The Pendleton. Barrel. LFB cask strength. Garrison Brothers. So is it this one, the Pendleton 1910 12 year? One of the worst ryes I've ever had, he writes on the sample. This one? You say it's one of the worst ryes? Yeah, why not? One of the worst ryes you've ever had. Why the heck not? Let's try it. You say this is terrible, Derry? Let's give it a shot. That's an exceptional label. Literally writes on it. I'm sending you this. It's one of the worst things I've ever had in my life. Speaking of not liking, my local club just did a pick, and I'm auto in on having a bottle. Guess what it is, Dripless Glen. Yeah, it's so funny because I I have had Driftless Glen stuff before that I liked, like their Bourbon de Noronha. Actually, really good. It's like orange infused sherry cask finished bourbon. I thought it was really good, and so I was really excited when Driftless Glen offered to send me some single barrel stuff, and they did. And then I felt really bad, but I can't lie. Like I'm not gonna lie on my channel and say, "Hey guys, this is really good stuff," just because they sent it to me. Because I don't want you guys to spend money on something because you think that I am being truthful. You know what I mean? So I did not rate those very highly. I didn't rate them very highly, and then they never responded to me after that, which I don't blame them. They were so generous. They sent me. I am very grateful to them, and I told them that like, hey, I'm so grateful. They sent me 2 single barrels, full bottles, like probably, and then merch as well. It's probably at least I would say at least $160 to $200 worth of stuff they sent me for free, which was very generous of them. They were very kind. I have no bad things to say about Driftless Glen, but the single barrels they sent me were not great, and I didn't rate them very highly, and I felt bad about it. But I wasn't gonna lie. All right, so this is Pendleton from Delicious Dairy. It says Pendleton 1910 12 year. That's a really old rye. One of the worst ryes I've ever had. Let's see. That nose is weird. Apple cider vinegar is what it makes me think of on the nose. Apple cider vinegar. But there's also sort of a soft floral note to it, like a honeysuckle. Apple cider vinegar and honeysuckle on the nose. That tastes like a rye whiskey or a rice whiskey. Straight up. Have you ever had a rice whiskey before? Because that's what this tastes like. It tastes like a rice whiskey. Dude, that's friggin' weird, man. Rice that was spilled on the ground first. Oh, I don't jive with rice whiskey. I haven't had a rice whiskey yet that I loved. Some of them get really great reviews. I haven't had any of the ones that people genuinely love. This one's weird, man. That's a 12-year rye. What's the price on that? Let me ask you, Derry. What's the price on this bottle, the Pendleton 12-year rye? It really does taste like a. It tastes like a 70 proof rice whiskey. Bucano is stellar. I don't think I've had that. I've tried to give that bottle away multiple times. Was turned down each time. That's weird, man. You're right. That's weird. So you're not going to be offended, Derry, if I literally title a video, "This is the worst rye I've ever had in my life." You're not going to be offended if I say that? And make that a bit. I think that would get clicks, actually. That would get clicks. Worst rye I've ever tasted. That's a video that will get clicks. I will be so happy if you do that. It's definitely a video. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put that aside. That's gonna be a video I do for sure. Send me some pictures of the bottle, cause for like thumbnail. And I was actually telling Matt this recently. So my YouTube rep, when you get partnered on YouTube, so getting partnered on YouTube, you have to get a certain number of views in a certain amount of time in order to be eligible for partnership, which means that you can monetize your videos. So the ad revenue stops going to Big Daddy Google, and instead the ad revenue comes to you. When the Whiskey Channel got partnered, I got assigned a partner rep at YouTube. And they assign you a partner rep sort of within your genre of content. So on my gaming channel, obviously my YouTube rep is a guy that works with other creators who make gaming content. But my whiskey channel has a different rep who's more like lifestyle entertainment. And so he had told me when it comes to whiskey reviews specifically, the more airtime the bottle has in the video, the longer people watch, which is an interesting thing. And I'm like, that actually makes sense. I had actually one time commented on one of my favorite YouTube channels that reviews whiskey and had told them, hey, I really loved this video. And my only critique was that they never showed the bottle. I was like, this is a great video, by the way. Your tasting notes great. Your commentary is great. Your banter is great. Just put the bottle like maybe on the counter while you're talking about it, while you're tasting it. Because that's a big part of it is sort of the brand recognition and looking at the bottle. So it's funny that he told me that because I was like, hey, I totally jive with that. Because as a viewer of whiskey content, I have literally said that exact same thing. So whenever you guys send me samples, a lot of times I'll reach out to you and say, hey, do you mind sending me pictures of the bottle? That's why. Because viewer retention goes up the more airtime the bottle gets. But anyways. There's something awry with this awry, right? Yeah. To be fair, Pendleton is a Canadian whiskey. Yeah, Canadian whiskey has no rules. Not no rules, but very few rules. Yeah, Canadian's a whole different ball game. And they're blenders to the core. Yeah, that's really interesting. That being said, sometimes their stuff's really good. My Whistle Pig 18 year right there. That's a great bottle. It's all Canadian. All Canadian rye. Anyways. Alright, well, I'll tell you what, guys. It's been an hour and a half. So, no, it's been almost 2 hours. I lied. I forgot. The time on my PC is wrong now because it was out of commission for a while today. So the clock there is way off. It's actually 10:22 my time. So we'll probably call it there. Call it a night. Does it smell like skunk? Yeah, not quite. But anyways, hey, thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate y'all. That hiccup there in the middle of y'all. It was like, yeah. Appreciate ya. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Whether you're East Coast or West Coast, you might be going to bed right now. You might be staying up a little while catching a show with your wife. I don't know. Whatever you're doing, I hope it's good. And yeah, I look forward to doing this again. So, like I said, I'd like to make this a bi-weekly thing where we do the raffle with the Patreon supporters and let a Patreon supporter pick the blind. Send you the full inventory of what I've got, and we'll go from there. Should be fun. But thanks again. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful evening. Catch you in the next live stream. Let's do this again sometime real soon. Bye.